and we'll just eventually keep attaching all the way up this side until we get to the safety pin. Remember that safety pin that we put in that told us when to start decreasing? Well, if I move on up this column, you'll see that I have a safety pin attached right there. When I get to that safety pin, I know the next row is when I start decreasing. So here we've made it to the stitch marker. We've worked the row that the stitch marker is marking. So we've maintained our 40 stitches. We've connected to the column where the stitch marker is, and now every row after this stitch marker is going to be a decrease on both ends of the needle. So we'll decrease at the beginning and decrease at the end, and then do the attachment, and we continue that until we get all the way up to that corner marker. So I'm going to take the stitch marker out because we've completed that row, and I'm going to add it to the other side, but not just yet. I'm going to knit a row before I get there. So my next rows are going to be the decrease phase. So we're going to be decreasing at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. This is that decrease triangle, and it'll end in the point over by that other stitch marker on the panel we've finished. So we're going to slip, we're going to knit 2 together, we're going to decrease, you can decrease into the front if you want, or decrease into the back, doesn't matter. We're going to knit them together. That's the decrease. And then we're going to decrease again at the end of the row. So I'll go ahead and get to the end of the row and meet you there. Okay, we're at the end. We're going to work a decrease, and then we're going to attach to the panel below. I went ahead and put my marker on the corner, but now I'm on a decrease, so I just decreased, so now I'm going to connect the next slipped stitch, pull a stitch through, then we knit 2 together and knit all the way back. I went ahead and added my stitch marker to the very first stitch and made the corner, and you'll see that when we get back to the beginning. All right, we're back to the beginning, and we have knit every stitch, and you can see where I've attached the stitch marker in the row we just finished. That's the corner. That's where we started our decreases on both ends. And now I'm going to continue this pattern, decreasing on both ends of the needle, and it'll slowly turn in to the triangle that ends with the point. So you can see here as we keep working, that edge is really showing up, and we continue to keep working it until we're back down to the 4 stitches on the needle. We continue to attach all the way up to the next stitch marker, which is that corner stitch marker on that left hand side. We continue to work it. Okay, we're going to finish this panel. We get up to the corner. We have just a few stitches left. I look to see how many rows left, how many stitches I have left before the stitch marker. And for now I have 2 spots. So I need to make these few stitches last down and back so that I can use up those last spots. Sometimes by the time you get down here, you might have picked up an extra stitch or knit 2 together when you shouldn't have, and you might have an uneven number. Don't freak out or panic. You just want to make sure you end it with the right amount of stitches. So it looks like here I have 5 stitches left, or 6, I can't quite tell. So I'm knitting 2 together, and then I'm finishing the row. So I have 4 stitches left on my needle, but I'm not quite to the marker. So there's a couple things you could do. If I'm ready for my next row to be in the marker, I could just knit 2, and do a connection. But I need 1 extra row. So I'm going to finagle it. Don't panic if you're close, but you don't quite match it up. So I slip my first stitch, and then I decide, instead of trying to do a decrease and then another decrease on only 3 stitches, I'm just going to work 1 stitch where I would normally do a decrease. I'm just going to work. Then I'm going to decrease here. Again, this is entirely up to you how you want to work this last row or 2.